What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. And what a weekend it was for pro wrestling, man! You had WWE Night of Champions, you had NXT Battleground, and you had capping off the weekend. You had AEW's Double or Nothing, which we're going to talk about right now. As you can see, I'm wearing my Brody Lee t-shirt. Rest in peace to Mr. Brody Lee. Man, can't believe it's been almost over 2 years since we lost him. Anyway, man, let's get right to it, man. So on the buy-in, aka the pre-show, uh, you only had one match. The the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, and uh, and their tag team partner Hook defeated Ethan Page and Ethan Page and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. So the stipulation here was if the Hardys and Hook won, then Ethan Page would be under contract to the Hardy Boys. Similar to the situation earlier this year with the Hardys and Ethan Page, where Ethan Page took control of Matt Hardy's contract and what do you call it, and had him do his dirty work. Lots of shenanigans. It was a really fun match to kick it off, to kick things off. Um, and after the match, what do you call it? There was a segment featuring AEW president and founder and CEO Tony Khan and Martha Hart, the wife of the late great legend Owen Hart, promoting the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament that started last year. This is going to be year number two. So, but that segment was kind of terrible. I mean, uh, Tony Khan came out in a goofy hat and a goofy suit, and it was just all over the place. It was like AEW's version of The Room. I don't know if you guys remember the film The Room. If you don't know what I'm talking about, kids, look it up. It's terrible, but it's one of those things that it's so bad that it's good. uh, yeah, so that concluded the buy-in. And to kick off Double or Nothing, uh, you had the 20 man, wait a minute, 21 man battle royal for the AEW International Championship, which was held by Orange Cassidy, and there was participants like Keith Lee, Shane Strickland, the Lucha Brothers, the Varsity Athletes. Who else was in there? The Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. Just and a whole host of other AEW superstars were in there, and Orange Cassidy ended up retaining the his AEW International Championship by eliminating Shane Strickland. Really fun opener. Really hot crowd in Las Vegas. So you had the no holds barred match where a returning Adam Cole took on Chris Jericho. So the story here was Adam Cole returned after 9 months of being sidelined from action due to a double concussion, and what do you call it? This was his return to pay per view, and the storyline with Chris Jericho was a couple of weeks before the pay per view. Adam Cole returned to action, and what do you call it? And then the week after Adam Cole returned to action, his real life girlfriend Britt Baker, who was also a AEW wrestler, got beaten down by Chris Jericho's group, the Jericho Appreciation Society, and they had Adam Cole handcuffed to the ropes and forced him to watch his girlfriend get beat down. And the narrative was that Adam Cole let his girlfriend get beat down and he did nothing about it, which wasn't true because he was handcuffed. and so that led to this match, which a lot of crazy stuff going on. ECW and professional wrestling legend Sabu was the special enforcer. He did a top rope dive at his age. I believe he's in his early 60s, like 30 seconds into the match. It was just nuts, man. And the match ended due to referee stoppage when Adam Cole just continued pummeling Chris Jericho, which forced referee Aubrey Edwards to stop the match and declare Adam Cole the winner. Then you had what do you call it? Then you had the AEW World Tag Team titles being World Tag Team Championships, I should say, being decided when Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett took on FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, with special referee Mark Briscoe. Again, lots of shenanigans in this match. This was a really fun match, and Karen Jarrett ended up getting involved, and the wife of Jeff Jarrett ended up getting involved, and smashing a guitar over Aubrey Edwards' head. And Mark Briscoe ended up getting a guitar smashed over his head. It was just nuts. But FTR pulled out the win with the big rig. I believe they call it, as a tribute to the man on my shirt, Mr. Brody Lee. So yeah, what a fun match that was. And next up you had the TNT Championship being decided when TNT champion Wardlow defended against Christian Cage in a ladder match. Now, if you watch wrestling like I do, and ladder matches are pretty much Christian's specialty. He was a highly he was an innovator of them, and he did a lot of crazy stuff with ladders during his career. And Wardlow, he hadn't been in that type of specialty match, and everybody was anxious to see what he can do, and he definitely delivered. He did a swanton bomb off the ladder, putting Christian's right hand man, Luchasaurus, through a table. Arn Anderson, the legendary Arn Anderson, was involved with the Four Horsemen, man, taking off a chunk of Luchasaurus' thumb, like legit taking off a chunk of Luchasaurus' thumb. It was nuts. But in the end, Wardlow ended up getting the win and retaining the TNT Championship. Fun match indeed. Okay, next up, you had Tony Storm of the Outcasts. That's a group consisting of Saraya, formerly known as Paige, her, and Ruby Soho. And then they defeated Jamie Hayter Tony Storm defeated Jamie Hayter, to retain to become the new AEW Women's Champion. She is now a two-time AEW Women's Champion. That is a first for the company. Lots of interference from the Outcasts, and Dr. Britt Baker was involved, and so was Hikaru Shida. So it'll be interesting to see where that rivalry goes. Congratulations to Tony Storm on becoming the two-time AEW Women's World Champion. Next up, you had the AEW Trios Championships, or the six-man tag team championships, as they're known in other companies, being decided, where with the House of Black defending against the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, aka Daddy Ass. Yeah, what a fun match that was. But the House of Black ended up pulling out the win and retaining their AEW Trios Tag Team Championships. They were just one step ahead of the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass every single time, man. Every time that the Acclaimed would get something going, they would get cut off at House of Black, and it was just very, very smart wrestling. That's what I like to see. Uh, and Max Caster, who's part of the Acclaim, and he's known for dropping some heat on the microphone during the entrance, and tonight was no different. Man, it was crazy. And So the House of Black ended up retaining their championships. Next up, you had the TBS championship with Jade Cargill taking on Taya Valkyrie. This was the second time that these women met, with Jade Cargill picking up the win the first time, and she picked up the win this time around too. But it was a great match between those two ladies. But what the shocking return was, the shocking thing about that match was Jade Cargill's 52-0 undefeated streak ended when a returning Chris Statlander came back after almost a year and a half on the sidelines with a torn ACL. She came back and she took the TBS championship from Jade Cargill. So Chris Statlander is your new AEW TBS champion. Man, it is that was a moment. She had been teasing coming back for a while, but you didn't know when or how it was gonna happen, but it happened. Um, and in okay, so now this was the main event. It was a double main event. So in the first main event, you had a fatal four-way match for the AEW World Championship, putting the four pillars of the company, meaning the four gentlemen who were pretty much homegrown and had been with the company since day one, and throughout its 4-year history. So it was Darby Allin, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, the son of legendary actor Luke Perry, Sammy Guevara, and MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And MJF ended up retaining his AEW World Championship, much to the dismay of a lot of people in the movie theater that I watched it at, and a lot of people watching at home maybe. But me, I'm a huge fan of all four of these guys, but I especially love MJF, man. He's so brash and so bold, but he definitely backs it up when he gets in there, and that's what I enjoy. He is the classic old school heel, man, and that is very rare to find in wrestling these days, if at all. Um, Great match between these four gentlemen, and also it should be noted that before the match, Sammy Guevara and his real life wife, Ty Nora Mello, they announced that they're expecting their first child. So very, very, very sincere congratulations go out to the both of them. And yeah, and then the second half of your main event, it was Anarchy in the Arena. Basically anything went. It's gonna get it was gonna get nuts. You knew it was gonna get nuts because they did this match last year, and last year somebody almost got lit on fire. So what do you call it? It was just, and this year it was the same thing, man. But this year it was the Blackpool Combat Club, consisting of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, John John Moxley, taking on and Brian Danielson. I'm sorry, taking on what do you call it? The Elite, consisting of the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page. This storyline had been a long time in the making with the reuniting of the Elite. They had teased it, and it finally happened about 2 weeks before this pay per view. And the Blackpool Combat Club has been basically running roughshod over AEW ever since they formed. ever since they formed last year at or yeah, last year at AEW Revolution. So yeah, a hell of a match. Like it was just all over. You know, you fight thumbtacks and barbed wire and forks and people getting suplexed on flatbed trucks. Man, it was just a hell of a good time. Uh, I enjoyed it so much, man. And then the shocking ending to the pay per view which saw Konosuke Takeshita, which Japanese superstar, Japanese phenomenon. He was supposed to help out the elite. He had been aligned with them for a while, but he made a shocking heel turn and joined up with the Blackpool Combat Club and aided them in defeating the elite in Anarchy in the Arena. So it'll be interesting to see what happens Wednesday night on Dynamite with that whole storyline. I can't wait to see where it goes, man. AEW has a lot of great stuff coming up. They have the new television show Collision coming up later this month. You got the AEW video game coming out at the end of this month, and you also have all in London, the big show in the UK, AEW's UK debut, and then right after that you have all out, which is takes place Labor Day weekend. And then AEW Grand Slam, but that's not till later in September. But yeah, man, lots of great stuff coming up for AEW. AEW did a phenomenal job of delivering as they do always on pay per view. I enjoyed it immensely, and everybody in the theater that was watching it with me enjoyed it immensely. And I can't wait to see what happens next. And yeah, man. So that is gonna do it for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. Like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.